Paratmanamekam Jagadbijamadyam Niriham Nirakaram Omkar Vidyam Yato Jayate Palyate Yena Vishvam Tamisham Bhajeliyate Yatra Vishvam. Hari Om Tat Sat. Hari Om Tat Sat. Hari Om Tat Sat. Param Pujya Swami Suviranji Maharaj, who has left this dais just now. My pranams to him. Pujyapad Swami Bodhisattvanandaji Maharaj and all other revered monks and sannyasinis. My pranams to all of you. Swami Mahapragyananandaji and Shivadishanandaji also, and the other esteemed speakers who have spoken. And my namaskars to all of you, dear devotees. Till now we have listened to very interesting and inspiring deliberations on Sri Ramakrishna, Ma Sarada Devi, and Swami Vivekananda. Just now we listened to a wonderful talk given by revered General Secretary Maharaj. One point which came to my attention in his talk, I would take up that point and continue my talk. The topic of my talk is Vedanta Saar. Now, till now you were listening to talks which were full of the Bhakti Bhav, full of devotion. And there is an idea widely prevalent in the minds of so-called devotees that this Jnana Marga is different from this Bhakti Marga, and it is devoid of bliss and anandam. Actually, it is not like that. If you just look into what Bhagavan Sri Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, where Sri Krishna talks about 4 kinds of devotees. And he also elaborately talks about what bhakti is and what devotion is. There Sri Krishna says that there are 4 kinds of devotees. I'm not going into the details of this discussion. But the 4th devotee, the first devotee is Artha. Artha is one who is in difficulty, who is suffering. So he tries to commune with God with some selfish interest. The second devotee is Jigyasu, who wants to know about God. The third devotee is Artharthi, who wants something from God for his selfish purposes. And the 4th devotee is, Sri Krishna says, Jnani, Jnani cha Bharatarshabha. And then Krishna goes ahead and says, this Jnani is the supreme Bhakta. It's a very important point which we need to keep in our mind, because usually we have this misunderstanding that Bhakti is different and Jnana is different. Actually speaking, the true Bhakti emerges from true Jnana. It is only in Advaita that you get the true picture of bhakti. There, Sri Shankaracharya in his commentary, he makes a wonderful observation. He says that why Sri Krishna is saying that this jnani means what? Atmavetta, one who knows his own self. He is a jnani. This Atmavetta is the greatest devotee. Why? Shankaracharya says, the reason why this jnani is the greatest devotee is that for this jnani, there is nothing existing apart from God. See, here the Advaitic drishti comes. For an Advaitin, there is nothing existing apart from one reality. You can call it by any name, doesn't matter. Names don't really matter. You refer to that reality as Brahman. You refer to that reality as Ishvara. Doesn't matter. There is one and one reality alone. There is no second distinct entity apart from that reality. So jnani is a person who is constantly seeing God. So Shankaracharya says that Anyasya bhajaniyasya adarsanat eka bhaktir vishishyate. This jnani is a person, as he doesn't see anything existing distinct from that supreme reality, he is in constant communion with God. That's why he is the supreme Bhakta. Now, why am I referring to this point? We have to understand Sri Ramakrishna from this standpoint. Question is, what was Sri Ramakrishna's bodha? We are nothing to talk about Sri Ramakrishna's spiritual bodha. We are just nothing. But when we study the great masters of the Upanishads and the great masters of the past, Shri Krishna's Bhagavad Gita, Shankaracharya's immortal works, through that lens we can understand for Sri Ramakrishna nothing existed apart from God. That's why you can see that all these great Advaitins, they were great Bhaktas. Sri Ramakrishna was a great Advaitin, and he was also a great Bhakta, one who celebrates divinity in so many forms. Shankaracharya is considered to be the greatest Advaitin of all times. But we miss the point that he was also the greatest Bhakta, one who worshipped Brahman in so many forms. It is this Advaita drishti which gives us that capability to taste divinity in everything. The vision of Advaita is what? To see divinity with open eyes. See, my topic is Vedanta Saar, the essence of Vedanta. And when we talk about Vedanta, what does this Vedanta mean? Vedanta means nothing but Upanishads. Vedanta Saar means Upanishad Saar. And what is the essence of the Upanishads? The essence of the Upanishad is only one. That Brahman alone exists. There is only one reality which is existing. There is nothing distinct from that reality. And knowing this alone, we the so-called jiva or the human beings, we can become free from suffering. There is no other way. Knowing our true self alone puts an end to all our sufferings and misery in life. This alone makes us fearless. This alone makes us strong. It puts an end to all our weaknesses. Swami Vivekananda says, this is the only system which gives unto man complete possession of himself and makes him brave to suffer, makes him brave to face the ups and downs of life, and ultimately attain the supreme freedom. mukti. Now the ultimate message of the Upanishads is what? In one word, it is mukti. Every evening we sing this arati here in the beautiful Sri Ramakrishna's temple. What are the first three words of this arati? Khandana bhava bandhana. Sri Ramakrishna's life has been put in so many volumes. Huge biography. I say always that Sri Ramakrishna's entire biography can be squeezed in these three lines. He stands for only one phenomenon, that is Khandana Bhava Bandhana, which is Vedanta Saar, which is the very essence of the Upanishads. Upanishads have only one thing to tell the entire humanity, that is how to attain this Khandana Bhava Bandhana, how to attain mukti, how to attain freedom. Freedom is the one song of the Upanishads, and Sri Ramakrishna, whom we are remembering here, in whose name this Bhakta Sammelan is going on, he is the very embodiment of this great phenomenon called Khandana Bhava Bandhana. We should remember that Sri Ramakrishna is not here to make our sansara continue. This is an important point which all the devotees have to keep in mind. Sri Ramakrishna is not here to make our samsaric bandhana continue. He is there to put an end to our samsara bandhana. So the devotees of Sri Ramakrishna have to keep in mind what we are praying to Sri Ramakrishna. Praying to Sri Ramakrishna means praying to Ishvara, who is at the very root of this creation. And what do we pray to the Ishvara? Very beautifully. Sri Ramakrishna himself has shown us the way. We have to pray for bhakti. We have to pray for jnana. We have to pray for viveka. And we have to pray for vairagya. The more we have these things in our life, you will see that your life will become so beautiful. The real beautiful life begins with the acquisition of these amazing virtues called jnana, bhakti, viveka, and vairagya. So, coming back to my point, I am going to keep my talk very brief. Already we are running out of time. Just 10 more minutes. So, what is Vedanta Saar? Vedanta Saar is what essentially it tells that every jiva, every man, every woman is actually speaking divine. There is no other meaning, the so-called this jiva. We are all essentially divine. Swami Vivekananda puts it in a beautiful language. Each soul is potentially divine. And to manifest this divinity is the very goal of human life. Vivekananda takes the whole of Upanishadic ideas and puts it in a few sentences. Each soul is potentially divine. We are all divine. Every man, every woman is divine. The goal is to manifest this divinity. And how are we going to manifest this divinity in every moment of our life is the very thing which the Upanishads and Bhagavad Gita and all the great masters have taught us. I will tell you one small story which comes in the Mundaka Upanishad. You might have heard this story perhaps, definitely. It's a well-known story where the Rishi says, it's a beautiful illustration, it's a beautiful analogy of two birds staying in one tree. There is one tree in which two birds are staying. The one bird is on the top, and the other bird is somewhere in the lower portion of the tree. And this lower bird is busy eating fruits. It is busy eating fruits. Now it eats a sweet fruit, then it eats a bitter fruit. In this way, this lower bird is fully drowned and busy and engaged eating fruits. And whenever it eats any sweet fruit, it feels very good. And at times when it tastes a bitter fruit, it becomes disturbed. And when it becomes disturbed and feels miserable, it looks up at the higher bird. And that higher bird is sitting in its all majesty, absolutely without any disturbance, peaceful and calm. Remember, that is what is God. This bird, lower bird, appears to be separated from that higher bird initially. This is our state. We are all in our ignorance. We think that I am separate and God is separate from me. This is okay. It has got a place in our life. But what is spiritual practice? Spiritual practice is nothing but the evolution from this standpoint and to get closer and closer and closer and closer to that supreme reality, Ishvara. The more we get closer to Ishvara, the more we succeed in establishing this connection with Ishvara who is residing in our own hearts, the more we shall see that we shall become free from all miseries and sufferings of life. So in that illustration, the Rishi says this, that this lower bird is in this way pecking, tasting sweet and bitter fruits, and every time it tastes the bitter fruit, it looks up towards the higher bird and it moves towards the higher bird. In this way, it keeps on moving towards the higher bird, and finally, in the last stage, what happens? It merges with the higher bird. And once the lower bird merges with the higher bird, then what is the realization? The realization is that the lower bird never existed. What a great discovery is waiting to happen in every human being's life. This is the plain truth. That lower bird which appeared to be existing, distinct from the higher bird, actually speaking, it is only an appearance. The simple truth and fact is that that lower bird is nothing but one with that supreme bird. We are all actually speaking one with that Ishvara whom we are worshipping. We are not distinct. Now this is what the Upanishads want to tell us in every stanza. If you just look into that Shankaracharya's famous statement, immortal statement, Brahma Satyam, Jagat Mithya. The moment we say Jagat Mithya, people are scared. We just don't want to accept it. It's a simple statement of fact. And we don't stress the second sentence. The second sentence is extremely important. The first sentence is only half of the story. Brahma Satyam, Jagat Mithya, where is the doubt about it? But what is the second sentence? Jivo Brahmaiva na aparaha. This Jiva. And when you talk about Jiva, Jagat also comes. This Jiva and Jagat, what is it? It is nothing but Brahman and Brahman alone. What is actually existing is Brahman and Brahman alone. This is the ultimate statement. That's why if you just look into Sri Ramakrishna's teachings, you see, in all the Bhakta Sammelans, you will find we discuss all the standpoints of Sri Ramakrishna. It is good. All the standpoints, lower standpoint, higher standpoint, they are all valid. Nothing is wrong. There is no conflict. But if you ask me, personally, I feel the most important teaching of Sri Ramakrishna is Advaita Gyan Achale Bendhe, Tarpure Jai Chai Taiko. And interestingly, this is the one thing which is least discussed. It is never discussed. Sri Ramakrishna has shown us how to lead a wonderful life. You have to develop this Advaita Drishti, Advaita Bhava, that everything is divine. Every man is divine, every woman is divine. There is divinity alone which is existing. With this vision, you will be able to handle this life most intelligently and wisely. It is in the absence of this vision that we mess up with this life. So Sri Ramakrishna's most important teaching is this: tie the knowledge of Advaita to the corner of your cloth and then lead your life. A devotee comes to Sri Ramakrishna, you will find Swami Brahmananda ji has compiled Sri Ramakrishna's teachings, which is published. In the first page itself, you will find there. A devotee is coming to Sri Ramakrishna and asking him, "Okay, Thakur, please tell me one sentence which will illumine my mind." I repeat the question. That devotee is coming and telling Sri Ramakrishna, "Please tell me one sentence which will illumine my mind." And Sri Ramakrishna says, "Brahma Satyam, Jagat Mithya." If you can assimilate this, you will become illumined this very moment. This is the echoing or retelling of the great eternal truth of the Upanishads and all the great masters in the past. This is Sri Ramakrishna's essential teaching. Essential teaching is nothing but everything is divine and divinity alone exists. One last point and I will wind up my talk. Just now when I was coming from Advaita Ashram to Belur, along with me, one brahmachari also came, who is with me, he is here. So in the car, he was telling me about an incident. And it is perfectly suitable for this gathering. The incident is that Swami Vivekananda's life, towards his last days, he is staying in his room here, in Swamiji's room, and one day he has come down from his room and he is sitting in front of that mango tree. And he is telling there to the devotees. His words are very significant. It may be an extreme position, but it's a fact. Towards the end of the life, Swami Vivekananda had no other concern but this and this alone. What was Swami Vivekananda's words? Swamiji says, "It is a shame that we are worshipping some other God other than this." Pointing his finger to what was in front of him, he is saying, his words are so strong. He is saying that it is a shame that we worship some other God other than this. This means this. Bahurupe samukhe tumar chhadiye kothai khuji cho Ishwar. This is the ultimate standpoint of the Upanishads. What other form of God do you need? According to the Upanishads, this is the most beautiful form of God that ever existed. To see God with the open eyes. This was the last message which Swami Vivekananda gave. Perhaps, I won't say last, but it is recorded in his life. His words are so significant. He is saying that it is a shame that we worship some other God other than this. Sarvam hi etat Brahma. Brahma evedam vishwamidam varishtham. Sarvam khaluvidam Brahma. Neha nanasti kinchana. All this thrilling, electrifying utterances of the Upanishads, Sri Ramakrishna and Swami Vivekananda were the very living embodiments of these great utterances. So as devotees, we should understand that ultimately we have to learn this great lesson from Sri Ramakrishna's life, and that lesson is to divinize, to see everything, to see divinity everywhere. Life is divine, everything is divine, our family members are divine, our children are divine, the husband and the wife, the brothers and sisters, everybody is divine. This divinizing of everything, spiritualizing of everything, this is the essential message of the Upanishads. This is the message of Sri Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita. This is the message which Shankaracharya gave. Drishtim jnanamayam kritva pashyed brahmamayam jagat. Shankaracharya says, with jnanamaya drishti, see brahmamayam jagat. This is the supreme drishti, Shankaracharya says. And Sri Ramakrishna and Swami Vivekananda were the greatest embodiment of this drishti. And this is what we have to cultivate in our life. I pray to Sri Ramakrishna and Ma Sharada, the Divine Mother. Now this won't happen without the anugraha of Divine Mother. It is this Mahamaya, the Shakti, the Divine Mother, who opens the door to this great understanding. If we gain this understanding, we should understand that it is happening by the limitless anugraha of Divine Mother. I pray to Divine Mother that let all of us have this devotion which is based upon supreme jnana, Advaita, Drishti and Bhakti. They are two sides of the same coin. This is what we need to develop in our life. Thank you so much.